Welcome CS 139 and 149 students. This is Professor Chow. I was wanting to create a methods kind of example so you could go through a specification and then write some methods, or a method in this case, to actually make a method call from your main and actually check the output against your actual code using the diff program. We've done this in the lab before, but I wanted to walk through it so you can actually see an example of somebody doing the coding, and so you can see where the method call happens and where the actual, how the method is actually created. So I've already created this page here with the sample specification. So if we read the specification, we're asked here to read in a number representing the day of the year as a double. We're going to convert it to an int and print it back out. We're going to be given these input and output files, so make sure you use these as the examples that you're using. So this testing in is going to work with 355.0 as the day of the year in a double format, and then we're going to convert that over to an int format. How we want to do our input request is a statement like this, and we want to set up a scenario where it looks like this when we're doing the output. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's keep this open here, and then we can refer back to that. I'm going to bring up my JGrasp, and I've got a pre-started program just so I didn't have to go through all of the setup. So I've got this program here. I've done my Java doc for my testing class that I'm going to be running here, and given my acknowledgments for any honor code pieces or any help that I received on this. And then I've also done pieces here where I've got the class testing created. I've created some Java doc for this read number method that I'm going to write, and I've got my main method Java doc over here. Also added the piece for the scanner in here so that I don't have to do that later. So let's go ahead and get started then. If we go back to the specification asks us to write a method to read a number that returns a double and has a parameter of string type for a prompt to the user. Okay. Also in the main, we're going to call your read number method and save the result into an int variable and print out the output as an int. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start out with my main. And what we were asked to do here is we were asked to have an int variable that we read in and then output as an int here. So I'm going to go ahead and start by creating an int variable. Day of year integer. I'm going to declare that. So create a declaration section. Then I'm going to go ahead and write my method that I want to do to return a double. So this method is going to be called read number, and it's going to have a parameter of string type for a prompt to the user. So knowing that, I'm going to go ahead and declare my method here. And for now, it's public static. We'll go into that scoping static piece later in the semester, but we want to return a, let's see what we were returning here, returns a double. Okay, so we're going to return that as a double. And it's called read number, and it's going to have a string prompt that we're going to do. And remember, we want to start that with a curly braces, and then we'll end it with a right curly braces. Always remembering to make those bookend curly braces to begin the method and to end the method. So we've got our begin, and then that highlights out to the end of the method there. You can see we've got that same thing going on with our main method, and then the same thing going on with the class. So here we're going to go ahead and declare a double that we're going to read in called my read in double. And then I'm going to go grab the string prompt here, and I'm going to system.out.println that prompt to the user. Then I'm going to go ahead and set up my scanner class here. I've done this previously, or have code to do this previously, so I'm going to go ahead and copy that in. Format it appropriately. All right. So I've got my scanner I've declared here called keyboard. Then I'm going to initialize it, call it keyboard new scanner from system in. And then now I'm going to actually do a keyboard, an assignment here actually from my read in double equals. I'm going to store the value from keyboard dot next double into that. Remember, I'm doing the 2 parentheses so I can actually make that method call to the next double method. Then from there, I want to take that double and I'm going to return it. Okay, so that's my method. It's going to take a prompt in as a parameter, and then it's going to print that prompt out. I'm actually going to go ahead and print it without a new line. So we'll print that prompt out, and then we'll come over here and we'll read in that value of the double called my read in double, and we're going to pull that in. Here, we're also going to declare a double to store the return of this. My returned double. And then we're going to go ahead and make this assignment. My returned double equals, and then we're going to call our method. I read number sub, then we're going to say enter in the, we'll pull this prompt from over here where we were doing our testing, enter in the day of the year as a double. We're going to leave the colon off for now so we can show you what it looks like when we actually pull in the diff file. So we'll do this right now. So we'll get a little bit of a diff. And then we'll finish that out. Then we need to convert this double into an int. So we'll do this and assign it to day of year integer equals, and then we're going to use this typecasting. We're going to typecast an integer from my returned double. Then we've got some printing that we want to do in our output. If we went back to here and looked at it, we want to have these headers called double and integer that we put out there. So we're going to go ahead, and it looks like there's 2 tabs in there. So we're going to go ahead and print 2 tabs between the header of double. So we'll do system.out.println double, and then \t integer. And then we'll system out println. We're going to put these dashes. I'm purposely going to leave this wrong by not putting the tab in this time to see what it looks like in the output as well. Then we'll do system.out.printf because we want to do this to 2 precision points. So we're going to go our %.2f for floating point, and then \t to give 2 tabs, and then we're going to go %d D for the decimal number. And then we're going to go give the variables my returned double and day of year integer. All right. Let's clean up this a little bit. Make sure we've got our final line there for check style. Give it a save here. Then we'll run check style on it. Got a lot of different problems here. The first one is on line 18, telling us that there's an extra white space here. So we'll pull that white space out. And we've got some indentation problems here, where we need to actually indent our items within our method for main. Fix that up. And it's longer than 80 characters here on line 38. So what we're going to have to do is pull this over to second line. We'll do that with the plus here. And we've also got one more problem here, which is a comma that needs white space after it. So that should be our last check style issue. Check style passes. Let's save that off. And then let's give this a whirl. We're going to go ahead and compile the file through successfully, and then we're going to go ahead and run this. So it's asking us to enter in the day of the year as a double. And we're going to go ahead and write that out as we have a problem in there. So we're going to need to fix this problem. Because we had a mismatch exception.